As we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, favorable weather is helping farmers wrap up the 2014 harvest. That means growers will soon be turning their attention to the off-season and getting ready for the 2015 season. Earlier this week, UNL Extension soil scientist Charles Shapiro joined us to discuss fall nutrient applications. But after a very wet season in many parts of Nebraska, we started by asking Charles how we know what's actually in the soil profile.
We take a soil test, right? That'd be the first thing to do. I would also recommend that if we have a yield map or something that gives us an indication of where we've had really good yields and really poor yields, that we check those spots, because of the variability this year, there's going to be a difference in the amount of nutrients removed. And as you mentioned, a lot of rain, that means that probably the nitrogen is going to be maybe even lower than normal. Good yields and a lot of water means that there's not going to be a lot of nitrogen left over.
How much variation can there be in those high yielding areas in terms of what nutrients are actually there?
The high yielding areas are going to remove based on how much removal per bushel, and if the producer is using the residue for something, baling it, or cattle are out there, there would be even less there. But basically they're interested in the phosphorus and potassium. On our sandy ground, sulfur would be an issue, and some of our hill ground and other places there may be a zinc issue.
Do you normally recommend fall soil sampling, or would you rather wait until the spring?
I don't have a great preference, but I think the important thing is to be consistent. I like to compare it to the toilet bowl and the reservoir. After you remove all your crop, there's a time period where the soil kind of re-equilibrates, and so sometimes you get higher soil testing numbers in the spring than the fall. But producers who are in it for the long haul, they should sample about the same time every 2 or 3 years whenever they sample. That way they can have a better idea what the trends are.
What about the efficiency of applications in the fall as opposed to in the spring?
The things to consider there are the soil texture. Where we have heavier textured soils, a producer could put on anhydrous ammonia. I wouldn't any kind of UAN liquid materials or urea dry materials. We only recommend anhydrous ammonia because it's going in the ground, it's in the ammonia form. It needs to be done when the soil temperatures are low. And on coarse textured soils, we don't recommend full application. For phosphorus and potassium, if they're on ground that's not highly erodible, they could do some spreading, and certainly lime could be applied in the fall.
Is there still a concern about leaching if there's a lot of water in that profile yet?
What we're concerned about on the leaching is what happens after the nitrogen is put on. If we have a warm period and the ammonia turns to nitrate, then either when it's waterlogged or when water moves through it, there would be leaching. So from an agronomy point of view, the basic underlying principle is to put the N on closest to when the crop needs it.
On the Market Journal website, we'll link to more information and recommendations about soil sampling.